Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Utowanne Family Podcast. We're here with myself, Nkem Chukwumerije and Kamakalam Chukwumerije, and two of our cousins, our sisters, our brothers. Why don't you guys each take a minute to introduce yourself and your family connection for those who may not know?
Okay. I'm Nkem Chukwumerije, as everybody would know me as Chidinma Chukwumerije, daughter of Charles and Adure Chukwumerije. Charles is just he's almost the last, like second to the last or something from his mother's line. I think even generally, I don't even know. Yeah, but he's second to the last from his mother's line. Um, and yeah, that's me.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, hello. Okay, my name is Martin Anayo Chukwumerije. You all know me as Anayo. So I'm the last son of Amanke Chukwumerije. So my dad is the only son of Ikegwana. So that's it.
Special
We're
things.
good.
Awesome. Yes, and I am the second daughter of Onyano Hachukumerija. And so we're here.
Mm.
I love that we're having a conversation about entrepreneurship today. And to be honest, we tried to schedule this conversation for a little while. But I think everything happens in the way that it should. So it's nice that the three of us are all literally in the same generation having a conversation about entrepreneurship, which kind of shows where the trajectory is heading for people in our generation and younger. Like in the past, it really was more about people being affiliated with certain jobs, and you can still be affiliated with certain institutions or organizations and still have entrepreneurial spirit or your own business. But it's kind of the way that's opening for us and people younger than us to create your own thing or do things in your way. So maybe we can just start off with like what entrepreneurship means for us individually, and then we can dive a little bit deeper. Anayo, do you want to get us started with that?
Okay. Entrepreneurship. I think my own. I would say is self risk because you don't actually know. I'll just say it's self risk. You don't know what you want to do is going to fetch a big income or it's not going to fetch a big income. You're taking that risk. So if you can say, building an idea, like when you have an idea and you're going to work on it, I think that's entrepreneurship.
Nice and simple. And then what is your okay, we'll come back to that because I think that'll be a little bit of a longer story
Okay,
about like what you're
okay,
doing. Yeah. How about you,
okay.
Kemka?
Entrepreneurship. What does entrepreneurship mean to me? I think for me is freedom. Um, just freedom of control of my time and the people that I surround myself with. It's also about like solving problems. It's about like providing value to, be it clients or whoever it is you want to provide the value to. So that's what entrepreneurship means to me.
Valuable. I love having the different definitions. For me, I would say it's about understanding how to live life on my terms altogether because it's, yes, there's part of it, a large part of it is about income, business, like how do you make it in the world in terms of survivability. But once that part is kind of secure or understood, the larger part is how do I want to do that? And what state of mind do I want to be? As you said, who do I want to choose to be around when I'm making this happen? And what realm do I want to do this? What's going to connect with my heart and my desire the most after the whole money thing is kind of sorted out? Because when working for an organization, a lot of times you don't have that choice. So making the choices for self and organizing myself in this life in a way that works for me. That's how I see entrepreneurship. Um,
Mm.
let's hear about what businesses or business ideas, because this is more than just about the fixed entrepreneurial avenues that we've created for ourselves. It's also about the mentality of this freedom or entrepreneurship or moving in our own lane, taking that drive in the direction that we want. So do you want me to say Kemka or do you want me to say Chidinma? I'm so used to Chidinma.
And you can call me Chidinma. You
Let's
can
do
call me
Chidinma.
anything. Anything as long as you're calling me.
I love it. I love it. As long as you're calling me, call me anything. Okay, Chidinma,
Yeah.
what's your business? What do you have going on?
What do I have going on? Well, I've had so many things go on in my life. Like, I think for me, my parents were entrepreneurs, right? So, um, being an entrepreneur wasn't even something I thought about. It was just something that kind of happened, really. I studied chemical engineering, but after that I just started designing websites and things for people. And in Nigeria then, when I started out too, it wasn't a very saturated market. So a lot of times people see you and they're like, oh, you can design a website and everything. And then, from there, they want you to design their website. And then from design their website, so they want you to design their logos. They want you to write content for their website. They want you to manage their pages. I couldn't do the rest of the things, right? But like Anayo said, it's like, oh, money, 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 right? So people want to pay me. People are like, oh, can you
Yeah.
design logo? I'm like, yeah, yeah, I can. I can design a logo. So it was kind of something I fell into, really. It wasn't really something I thought about. It was just something that I fell into. And I actually started like a couple of businesses, with different people still around like digital solutions, software, development and everything. And when you're starting out your business, one thing I did not realize was your partners are very important. The people who you decide to build. It's not just about friendships. These people, I had worked with them on different projects and everything. So I felt like we had a good working relationship. But when we actually started out the business, it just wasn't it. But then eventually something stuck, which was Sarge Clan. So yeah, right now Sarge Clan provides um digital solutions for people, across the globe, really. Because I started out in Nigeria, but now I've moved to the UK, and therefore I have to move my business here to the UK. And currently we're looking for clients here in the UK to service. There are still other businesses. I have my investment workshops. If you follow me on online, I'm very, very interested in investments and interested in wealth building. So I also teach people about that because I don't just want to keep, that knowledge to myself. I want to spread it out to the rest of the world. So that's something else I do. And then something else I want to start off too with my sister is a fashion brand. So my mom sews and everything, and then a lot of times I wear her clothes and people are always like, "Oh my God, this is really, really nice." And actually see that a lot of other brands too carry similar, silhouettes that I like and that people like. And I'm just like, okay, my mom knows how to sew this thing. I know how to create a website. Ogochukwu knows how to market. So let's come together and do something. So that's something, we're going to release sometime this year, probably closer to summer and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing with my time.
That's exciting. That's all very exciting. And
Yes.
when I listen to that,
Very, very.
you know, I hear resourceful, 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 resourceful. Like that's the biggest thing that's coming through is like just being
Yeah.
resourceful and knowing the resources that you have access to and knowing how to
Yes,
package them, package your
exactly.
resources and offer it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what you have to do, like as an entrepreneur. You have to be resourceful because a lot of times, especially like as a solution provider, as a service provider, a lot of time when people come to you to even to build a website, there are different types of websites out there. There are different types of logos you can design. There are different types of content. So someone comes to you and say, oh, I want a website that does this, and an e-commerce website, or a website where people can look up this and that, and it's something you've not done before. So many times a lot of the projects we worked on were brand new, but you
Yeah.
have to say yes.
And
There's
learn
something
along
Reid
the way.
Hoffman, exactly. There's something Reid Hoffman said that I really love. It's like entrepreneurship is like jumping off a cliff and then building the airplane as you go down. That's literally that's literally what it is, man.
Yeah.
You say yes, yes, yes to a lot of things, and then you
Yeah.
go back because Google is your friend. Everything is online. What
YouTube
you
University.
I'm a graduate of YouTube University for real because everything I know is I learned it online. I didn't nobody well not just online, but like also practically,
Right.
from different projects worked on. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's inspiring to hear that. Okay,
That's
there's
all.
some things I want to touch base on after we hear about Anayo's story.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so right now I'm in dinner changing my time. So I'm a photographer. Um, then also I'm a event planner. So I started with portrait photography because I love taking nature pictures and all that. So I now started with portrait photography. So before I started that, I started with editing instead of Photoshop. So I had to learn how to edit. So I was doing small editing for people. You go for events, you send me pictures, I edit it, I send it back to you, and that's what I'm doing. So now, so since I know how to do very well, when I go into photography, and since you do the that was when I started with photography. And I also have when I do rentage of equipment, like filming equipment, yeah, movie filming stuff. So I do the rentage of equipment also. So I manage events also. I own a company, my options. We run events, like we're event man, we manage events. So that's my offense. So that's what I've been doing this time, trying to deliver jobs and all that. Now our job is very hectic. We did all night and all that. That's it.
Love it. That's it. But it's like a whole list of things. And I think I remember when you started doing this, like was it like 2016, 2017, around
Yeah,
that time when you just
yeah.
like just starting doing
2016.
video, like music videos and things like that. And it's so cool to see
Yeah.
how that has brought you to this place, Nile Films, and just everything that you're doing. It's very beautiful to see that and how you're able to
Yeah.
even bring it and bring it into the family and capture the family engagements, activities, rites and rituals, and all types of things. That's really cool. It's something that our family has as a resource. But I have a question. Do you work with a team, like a longer base team, or do you work with a team whenever you need it? Like you just call people in when you need them? How does that go? Because it's
Okay.
a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work. I have a team that is ready. Like I don't pay them monthly, but I pay them anytime we go to for work. Any work we go to, we get paid. So I can't keep you when you don't work from maybe in a month we might have only three jobs or four. So I can't be paying you for all the days. You can actually get work. But on my own, you can't like anytime I have job, you know, be available no matter what's happening. So that's the agreement. So I have a team I work with. So we don't just come to events without even putting on the name, the logo there and everything. So it's a team. We come as a team.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Mm.
And a theme that I'm hearing as well as the synthesizer here is availability. Like it sounds like you've made yourself available as well as resourceful, but available to people's needs. Like people need someone to edit
Mm.
their pictures. I'll do that. I can do it. I have an eye for it. People need equipment. I have equipment. I've invested in equipment, and now that investment is going to pay me. But
That's
you have
true.
to trust the people who you're renting your equipment to, and that has to
Yes,
be
true. Yeah,
part of the thing
that's
because it
true.
is expensive. You know.
I guess in the industry, there's a way we do it. So we have like maybe if we're 10 in our university that rent equipment, so we have to just be in a group that you cannot take anybody's camera without somebody knowing you. So collective information about you before we give you equipment. One just happened of recent. They stole one from the guy. They had to arrest the guy and all that. So it happens all the time. We know how they do it. So we try as much as we can not to allow them do it to us.
Yeah, you have to be really vigilant about that and get the, what do they call it, like collateral, you know, this collateral that you need when you're renting stuff out. I mean, those are the
Mm.
parts whenever you're in a position of entrepreneurship, you're working within your lane. You have to know your lane, you have to know your industry, you have to know the people in your industry, and you create sort of a reputation for yourself, and you understand people's reputations, and you have to work within that. It's
Mm.
just part of the game. And if you don't want to do it, you're going to end up wanting to do it because you have to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just what it is,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, Chidinma, I know in this upcoming project that you have with your mom and your sister, that's a team, but in your other projects, your other businesses, do you work with a team or do you mostly work by yourself?
Yeah. I have a team. So we have staff that, monthly salaries that we pay and everything. But it's just the core staff, marketing, design. But a lot of the projects we work on too, we have contractors that we work with, because a lot of these projects extend, some of them are like 6 months, a year, and everything. And they come in, like mobile projects can come in like once or twice in a year, but then they are long-term projects, right? But you can't pay mobile developers because we can't afford to pay mobile developers, right? So you have to hire people that you can pay, right? So we've hired the people that we can pay, and then we have contractors that we work with for, you know, other projects that we don't have the resources in-house.
It makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I'll talk a little bit about my business as well because it is different, and I think having different perspectives is what makes this a more enriching experience. So my business
I
will
think you're always different.
is very different, very, very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wellspring Words is a literary anthology and creative enrichment studio. And so the core of the business model is that where the transaction happens, because this is what we're talking about business model, it's talking about where the money gets exchanged. And honestly, it's taken me some years to understand that and feel fully okay with that, having come from a background that was not that. And I didn't associate myself with entrepreneurship, but I just found myself in it in a way. But where the money gets exchanged, the business model is in workshops, coaching, anything where there's like a service exchange in this way. But there's also elements that don't have a financial component, which they have an opportunity to, but it's about making that make sense in the environment. Because where my business is situated, it's like in the literary publishing space, but it's also in this wellness space and a spiritual wellness space. And there's a whole industry around that. But it gets tricky because when we're talking about wellness and spirituality, these are things intrinsic to the human being. These are things that one doesn't necessarily need to pay for in order to experience, but there are opportunities to be guided to experience things in an easier way because there are a lot of distortions and things around us that a lot of the times prevent us from experience our true wellness, our true well-being,
Mm.
physical well-being, mental, spiritual, relational, psychological, everything. So someone like me, my investments in terms of like the equipment that I would use, my investments are educational investments, are training investments, training in energy cultivation, training in yoga, training in all these other types of modalities of healing and guiding people to their well-being so that way I can take those modalities and create programs and offerings that people can opt into with their time, with their money to receive that through what I'm offering, including the writing practices, and then they get the benefit from it. So that's how it kind of works on a more from a more business perspective. But where it gets tricky sometimes is pricing because we do have the cost of the investment that I put in for my training, but I can train in something and pay $2,000 for a training that can serve me for the rest of my life. But how do I then figure that $2,000 into the cost of how I'm charging somebody for something well past when the training had been paid off for? You know what I mean? But it's still something, the more that I practice what I've been trained in, the deeper that training becomes within my embodiment and how that embodied understanding of the education is transferred over to the person who I'm sharing it with or who I'm teaching or who I'm guiding. And the value of that is once again intrinsic and it's invaluable. And so there's the cost of labor, which I then have to decide for myself what makes sense. And a lot of the work that I do is more energetic work. It's not a physical kind of thing. So yeah, it gets a little bit tricky with that. So I kind of just base my cost structure off of what is a lifestyle that I'm living that feels good for me and what do I need to maintain that. And I adjust with time. I've made some really crazy adjustments over the past years, and I'm thankful the people who are rocking with me are still rocking with me. They're like, okay, I paid $1,200 for this course last year. This year I paid $500. Like, what? But I'm trying to figure out what makes the most sense without it being exploitative, because a lot of the
Yeah.
times in this especially in this space of wellness and spirituality, I have seen some extortionistic prices, just craziness, and a lot of the times it's the white people who don't want to do their own deeper work, so I'll pay you $10,000 and you do it for me. That's not how it works. in my area. That's not how it works. You have to show up and do your own work for you. And then it does have a backfiring effect if I, as someone who maintains integrity in the belief of what I do, shows up, accepts that money, does all this work for this person, and I actually receive the energy of them not wanting to do their own work, which is very strange, which is very, very strange to experience that. But it's not something that I thought that I would experience going into it, because when I started Wellspring Words, I started it only as what was an anthology online, an online journal for women of color to share their writing from around the world, because that's what I felt was needed at the moment where I started it, something that I needed deep within. And in this case, in my background, I didn't start business from a place of I need the money, right? It was just like I was working full time at the time, and I started it as a project. But with time, I said, I want to do online workshops because I have knowledge that I want to share. And there's going to be a cost behind that too, and that's fine. I want to do a course because an idea for a course was bubbling in my mind. So I wanted to flesh that out. I want to do a podcast. The podcast has an ability to be monetized, but I haven't done that yet because so many projects. There's just so many things.
Yeah.
And building out future trainings, and what does that look like? It really, yeah, a lot of things have to come into a sense of rightness and understanding, not only on the what is the content that I'm creating, but what is the financial structure that makes sense for it, in a business way. These two things have to meet
Yeah.
themselves.
I mean, if you're not making money, then what you're doing is charity.
Well,
So,
It's
yeah,
charity, and
exactly.
it's just for fun. It's just for
mm,
fun,
You,
you know.
you don't want money from it.
Yeah. And I've been there. I'm actually transitioning out of that place, being very honest, transitioning out of the
yeah.
place of doing a lot of things for free. And I could say that there is like a very high value in what I offer, but it's just about making the value meet the
Yeah.
financial aspect.
Yeah. Because people pay for a lot of people pay for a lot of useless things.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to services that people provide, that business people provide, they start to make excuses. Like I could meet someone, right? And they could go out to the club and spend thousands, hundreds of thousands of naira, but then you tell them, oh, a logo is like 150 or 200,000, then they're like, why?
Yeah.
And it's like, this
Mm.
this is something that is valuable to your business. This is something that will, tell your brand story. But then it's like always, I also had to learn how to, show them the value of what we are providing,
Hmm.
and then, usually they would see it.
Yeah.
No, you're
Um,
true. That's true because it happens in my own also. When memory line is very, very important. So in any event, the memory is very important. So you now have to tell the person, okay, this is the amount. He prefers even not paying the amount. He prefers paying bouncers as in higher than you that is coming to take a very important something there. They want to
Yeah.
say, you want too much. For what now? For what? So it happens.
Yeah.
we can
And
guarantee
then
that.
you And then sometimes you hear people say, it's not something I can do myself. It's not something I can do with my phone. Okay, then do
I'm
it.
saying,
Then leave me alone.
Yeah, it's true. And I've been there on that side too, where I was about to pay $5,000 to have somebody come and redesign my website, and we were talking through it, and I was like, I could do this myself, and I just did it myself. Just did it myself. I saved
Yeah.
myself $5,000.
so these
Yeah.
people that say they can do it cannot actually do it. They
Some of
just
the
want to
things,
use that.
some of the things they
Yeah, they
cannot
can't
do.
do it.
Some things are achievable, some things are not achievable, and I think it depends on what it actually is. What it
Yeah.
actually is.
You're right.
Yeah. It's a different mentality that let's speak to that a little bit, like the mentality that you have to be when you're a business person versus just, let me start from my perspective, moving from and being an educator, because that is my most recent background in terms of like corporate history, whatever, working for someone else as being an educator. And they pay you your salary and you come and you do as much work as they tell you to do. And it's a lot of work and you get yourself calibrated to doing a lot of work for whatever your salary is. You don't even think about what the salary is. You just receive it and then you do the work. And I had that mentality shifting into this work, which was to do a lot of work essentially for free and not receive the commensurate pay for it, because even the work that I was doing at the university, I wasn't, if I were to get paid for as much work as I was doing, I'd be getting paid a lot more. Let's put it like that. And so to shift that mentality into the place where I was, it was already distorted. It was already skewed that I would be expected to do a whole lot of work and not receive as much for it. So I really had to work on shifting my mentality into one of a business mentality, which is, as you said, this is the value. And paying
Yeah.
$150 for a logo, which you would pay $150
Mm.
for whatever drinks and stuff or whatever, however much it was at the club one night, that's literally for one night and it's gone. But the logo is going
It's
to last
gone.
you. It can last you for the rest of your business. It can
Yeah.
last you for this, this many years until you decide to reframe or refurbish or whatever. And shifting my mentality into that, to be honest, has been a struggle because of the area that I'm working in, which is so emotionally deep. And hearing people's stories and wanting to give people an opportunity, and also knowing that the work that I do comes so naturally to me. So I've had to understand what's the value that I bring. That for me, it's so easy that I can do it for free, and I have been doing it for free for over a decade. But now I don't need to be doing it for free. And what's the true value? So there is a mental shift that has to happen. But how has that been with y'all transitioning into this entrepreneurship life?
For me, yeah, that mental shift, because at the end of the day, in the beginning too, I think at the beginning, a lot of us do a lot of free work because in the beginning, you don't, you know what you want to achieve, right? But you've not done it before. So it's like, okay, it's fine. I can exchange free work for now because I don't even really know how to do this thing really well
Mm,
just yet. But then by the time do one or two projects and then you learn and you see how better you can do it on another project, right? You're like, I need to be paid for my time. I need to be paid for the value I'm bringing because at the end of the day, like as a web designer, I'm not just designing a website. um that website is selling for you. So one thing I always do is search engine optimization, optimizing the website for search. So you put your keywords in, um, and that website sells for the business long term. So I know the value that I'm bringing to this business designing their website. I know that after 6 months, after a year, that website is going to bring money back to the business, and that is just based on my expertise. There's so many web designers that do not do SEO. SEO is separate from web design, but I take my own to the next level by adding that piece of value, right? So you know what you're bringing to the business, and you know that this stuff is going to pay them at the end of the day. They're investing in you, and at the end of the day, it's going to pay them. So that is one of the ways that my mentality was shifted because I know I realized the value I was bringing to businesses based on client feedback and everything.
yeah.
Another thing is, eventually I had to start hiring people full time, right? So yeah, it's okay to have people that you can call on when projects come, but a lot of time when you call on them, they're not available or their time is divided,
Mm,
right? So yeah, they can work on that project, but their time is divided. They're not giving you everything. So you have to hire people full time to work for you. Even when there's no work, you have to hire people full time. So when somebody comes and you're trying to do a website for them or logo or whatever, and then you're giving them a bill and then they want to pay you like half of that bill, you know that at the end of the day, this is not going to pay the salaries of the people that are working for you. It's
yeah.
like there's no point taking this on, you know. So I think that's also another, way that the mentality was shifted for me.
Yeah, it's very practical. It's extremely practical, is what I'm hearing. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
I'm here in my masterclass learning from people who have been doing it for a little while in a different cultural context. Let's hear from you, Anayo.
Yeah.
Mm. So my is that from beginning of my own, just have to pay because I have to produce something at the end of it. So and I have people to pay also. So if the amount I'm giving you is if the amount you're giving me is not up to the production cost and to pay the workers, I will not actually take the offer because you have to look, okay, what am I gaining after this work, after my stress? Like even my eyes is swollen up. I worked all night. So
Dang. Thanks
after
for
my
being here.
stress. So remember I told you yesterday that I thought it was yesterday
Yeah,
I couldn't do
yeah.
it. My eyes, I was all through the night yesterday. I didn't sleep. I was looking. So imagine working. editing and all that all through the night, then you didn't get paid or enough to even carry you and all that. So I have this mindset that you have to actually know what you're doing. See, the most important thing in our job is not paying you, it's delivering.
Hmm.
So when someone take a birthday shoot and tells you that, okay, I'll be needing it in 2 days time, so actually your work is actually the person don't want to know if you don't want to know what's going to happen. If you are dying, if you are not sick, the person doesn't care. Just give me
Yeah.
my picture in 2 days time.
Right.
So you work your ass out to make sure it works. So our own is more like deliver. So when you deliver, you get more offers, your money gets to increase, your value increases. So you keep delivering, your value increases. So I have this mindset of you have to pay me well for me to give you the exact thing I want because I know it's very good. So pay me, I'll give you a very good service.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. Again, very practical. I didn't know this was going to turn into a coaching call for me, but it's a coaching call for me. And I receive it so gratefully because it's got me thinking, especially when it comes to value, in an area like mine. And I hope this is supportive for those who may be listening now or in the future who have an idea for a business or have an idea for a project that they do want to make money from. It's something that comes very naturally and easily to them. They don't need to necessarily get other skills. Like myself, right? Teaching writing has always come naturally and easily. I've been doing it since I was 19. But who is it meant for, right? Like if my client is the everyday person who's looking to write their novel, that's one thing. But if the work that I'm doing, the true value of the work that I'm doing is providing a sense of inner nourishment or an ability to self nourish, then maybe I ought to be looking at those who hold spaces for other people, those who are the people like me, the space holders who need to be nourished in order to create nourishing spaces. And that's at a bit of a higher level than just the person who wants to write their novel, which can also be a client, but there's also an opportunity for other clients. And that's what this
Yeah,
conversation is helping me to understand. When you look at the value that you bring from multiple perspectives, those perspectives can each
Mhm.
represent a different clientele that you can offer to. And
yeah,
it
Okay.
doesn't have to be just one clientele, it can be multiple
yeah.
expanded clientele.
And everybody can be your client, really. Like literally, everybody can be your target market because when you target everybody, you're targeting nobody.
Nobody.
You have
You
to have
diffuse your
like,
energy.
yeah, you have to have like your like really like a tunnel vision of who your target market. There's people that I don't even bother marketing to, like, oh, they're a business owner. You kind of you're after some time you're able to rate who can pay your bill and who cannot,
Yeah.
right?
Um,
So I actually I don't market to startups, like a lot of
Mm,
startup people. I don't market, I don't even bother. I can discuss with them, I can give them tips and everything because I know that at that stage especially if you're bootstrapping, if you're a startup and you have like investments, you have funds, that's fine, that's different. But a lot of startups are bootstrapping. So if you're bootstrapping, a lot of time you don't have money to actually pay for a website. That's why you have tools like Wix and WordPress, and you can build like a makeshift website for the meantime, you know. So I think knowing who your target market is called a user persona. Just knowing that is very, very, very important. Then you're
mhm.
able to kind of know what spaces they can be in, kind of
mm,
know where you can go and you can meet them,
Right.
really. And that's really something I'm trying to figure out here in the UK because in Nigeria, a lot of my clients were people who had worked for some time and they now wanted to start up their businesses. So um they had worked in whatever consulting or whatever oil and gas. They have they have funds, right?
Hmm.
So they are like in their 40s, they're in their 50s. So going into those spaces, it's easier to get, and it's easier for them to also pay your bills when you give them like a bill of like 1,500 or 2,000 for a website. They're not shaking or anything, you know. But if it's someone who is much younger, that is like 25, 26, that just
Yeah.
also starting up their business, and you tell them, oh, you won't see them and you kind of pity for them, and you're like, okay, instead of paying, maybe pay $900 or something.
Right.
They are screaming, they are screaming.
Yeah.
So it's just understanding who your target market is very, very,
Mm,
very important.
Right.
you're right. You're right.
Bootstrapping, for those who don't know, because there, when you enter into this realm of entrepreneurship, there, depending on where you're at, there are all these different lingos that people use. Bootstrapping, what is that?
Bootstrapping is you're basically strapping on by the boots, like you're just you're doing everything
But
by your own will,
By yourself.
really.
Your
You're
own
starting off with
money, your own
zero.
resources.
You're
Yeah.
yeah,
mm,
you're starting off
you know,
with
she
like
said
I
something about
bootstrap
someone having fun.
Say
She
again?
said something about someone
fun.
having. She said something about someone. You said someone having funds, like someone that's
Yeah,
pushing the
funds.
person. That, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So now this person that doesn't have is still starting. Like the person is from crash. The person is
They
starting
have
small, small. So
nothing.
they have
Yeah,
nothing
they
to
don't even have
offer.
savings.
So
Okay, maybe they have
you
some
have
savings.
you are the person that have to offer to them. It's either you're giving them advice or you're doing it for free for
Yeah,
them. So that's it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we bootstrap it. Like I bootstrap Sarge, and that's something that I said I'm never doing again in
If you
my
can help it,
life.
if you can help it.
If you can help it, get funds. Like with the one I'm starting off with my sister. It's from funds from Sarge that we're using
Yeah.
to start off the fashion brand. Like I'm not bootstrapping. Like as soon as we enter, like we're paying influencers to do a lot of marketing for us, and so that makes it much easier to recover your money or to make money. You make money in less time. But when you're bootstrapping, you don't have money to hire a marketer.
Right. You have to do
You don't have
everything
money
yourself.
to yeah, you don't yeah, you have to do everything yourself, and it can be very frustrating. And also when you're bootstrapping, you're not able to um like bill people at the level of service or value that you provide because you're just trying to make like any little money, please. I just want to make like a lot of times we start like it was just like really little money we were making in the beginning, right? And then, after some time, obviously things start picking up, people start recommending us, you go from there and everything. But it was still a struggle, even when we started hiring people, because we started hiring people like 2019, right? And the money we could even pay for salaries was so tiny that you cannot get anybody really valuable at that salary that you're trying to pay somebody because good people will not want to be paid at that salary you want to pay those people. So now you have to hire people and then you have to train them too,
Hmm.
which takes your time and which takes your effort and which takes your energy, right? So bootstrapping is just not something, but it's people do it and a lot of businesses actually have to bootstrap. Not a lot of people have access to investments and
Yes.
funds and
Let's be
so on
very
and so
clear about
forth.
that. When you're
Yeah,
bootstrapping, which is something that many of us either have to do or see as our only way, I have bootstrapped. I'm still bootstrapping Wellspring Words. I'll be very transparent in this thing. Because transparency is my best friend when it comes to entrepreneurship. If I lie to myself, I ain't doing nothing for nobody else. Absolutely not.
yeah,
So, bootstrapping, as much as it is a hassle and as much as it puts you in a place of stress, it also has the ability to put you in a place of faith, believing in yourself. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you must believe in yourself. There will be a lot of
yeah,
times where what you're putting out into the world, especially when you're starting and especially when you're young, people do not believe in you. They don't trust that what you're
yeah.
doing actually has value, or they think that it should come
Mm.
from someone else. You should look different. You should be doing. They have all these ideas of what you should be doing, but they will never step in your shoes. So you have to believe in yourself. And
Mhm.
sometimes when you have put everything on the line for it, that is the impetus to believe in yourself. Also, your ability, Chidinma, to have this cachet of cash to put into the business with your sister comes from knowing everything that you know through your experience of bootstrapping. You wouldn't have
Exactly,
known any of
exactly.
that if had you not bootstrapped to say, I ain't never doing this again. And so this is my solution, you know? So there's a lot of value in the sacrifices that we make, but we have to be willing to see that there's value in it and to say like, okay,
Yeah,
I may be struggling now, this may be difficult, but the future is looking bright and that's where I'm going towards.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think another thing people don't realize when it comes to money is you can actually get funds from like your family, you know. like people who believe in you,
Yeah.
honestly. You
Yeah.
can solicit for funds from them and exchange that with like a stake in the business and
Yeah.
everything. Like I don't see the point of I in my businesses still I leave a lot of equity for investors. Like if I can find an investor, that's fine and good. So I don't see the point of 100% stake in a business when you can give like 40% stake out and exchange that for some equity that for some money and that can help you facilitate a lot of other things and not just money, you can exchange it for network, you can exchange it for like advice and everything
Hmm.
like mentorship and
Mentoring.
all that. That's also very
That could be
important.
valuable, right? And these are things that you
Mm.
you start to see the more that you engage with your business and you see your business as something that's valuable. And it also depends on
Yeah.
what the nature of your business is, because in a coaching
Yeah.
atmosphere, right, in an events atmosphere, it might be a little bit different than in
Yes.
digital solutions, right? And there's no this is good, this is bad. It's just there are different ways to serve your population. What thoughts do you
Yeah.
have about that, Anayo, if any?
Yeah, you're right because in my own field, you just have to be accurate in whatever you're doing. Just have to track them perfectly, so and get your money. If
And
you
you're
don't
also
do it
in
that way,
Nigeria. You're also in a very different cultural context
yeah,
doing this on the
yeah.
ground. Yeah.
So, and it's not like someone can invest. Someone can actually invest if you want to, but it's going to be in the part of maybe like the equipment assets that you have percentage, and I also have my percentage also. But when it
Yeah.
comes to the main event itself, it doesn't come with someone investing, unless the person can also invest in it by having a larger equipment, like a stage, lightening of a stage, and all that. So you now be like, okay, this is my own part in my films. I have stage, I have this social equipment, I'm the one that own gimbal and all that. So putting all of them together, whenever this equipment goes to work, the money goes to you. But then
Hmm.
I'm using it to boost my own name, like the Nayo
Right.
thing. I'm using it to boost it. So me much work from that. That will actually grow me more because I will get my own money and the person will get his own money. And then along the line, I'm actually have all those things. Maybe cheap. This one goes to this work, this one goes to that work. And that will go. So that's
Yeah.
it. It's not like the same with us.
No, it's different. It definitely is different. And it has me thinking as we start to like wrap up our conversation. Let's talk a little bit about success and what success means for us in our business, what it means in general. It There's an opportunity for success to be more than financial, especially when you consider the nuances of your individual businesses and the enterprise that you're building. Because we're all building enterprises here. This is not just one small business that we're, and if it's just one small business, good for you. Good for you. But sometimes when you're really in it, you start to realize, oh, I have power here. I know how to use my resources. I know how to work this system. I can create my own networks and ecologies and ecosystems. So I'm going to do that. Then you start to build out enterprises and empires and whatnot. So when it comes to success, what does that feel like? What does that mean for y'all?
I think success. I think it's I can say success. It's more like setting a goal, then achieving. It comes in when you say entrepreneur, it's more like you saying this is it and that is it. You set a goal and you get to it.
Mm,
I feel you look at it and you smile. Okay, looking at it back, maybe 2 years back, where even did that 2 years back, what we done they do. So how far have you gone?
right.
So now you look back and you be like, this is really huge because you know where you were before.
True.
So I think that's success.
I like that perspective. Thank you. Chidinma?
What's success? Success for me is stability, really. Success for me is not having to be involved in the day-to-day planning of a lot of things. Success is that the fact that I can go on holiday and not check my emails, and come back and things are being delivered.
Right.
Um, yeah, that's what success is. Success is also in my employees and just seeing them thrive, knowing where someone was when we hired them and what they were producing at that time, and 6 months later what they produce. Success is also after they leave the company, how they are thriving in whatever company that they're working in. And
Mm.
that a lot of the things that they're bringing to that new company are things that they
Came from you.
gained from,
Yeah.
yeah, they gained from our company. And also success is our clients, success is our client success. When
Yeah.
a client comes to you and they're like, oh, the website, we get a lot of inquiries, from the website. Or a lot of clients come to us. We did this product design, right, of 18 tomato, and the client produced it, and started selling it in markets and everything. And then he came back to us and he was like that, just because of the design, a lot of people are buying the product and everything. So yeah, that makes me happy,
Hmm.
Yeah,
That sense of fulfillment. Great.
yeah.
Um, yeah, when it comes to success for me, it is that I can exist as fully and delightfully as I am, doing what I love, how I love to do it, in beautiful places in the world. Be requested to come and teach this thing, do this thing here, offer this thing. You can do whatever you want. You can create whatever you want. How much you want for it? Okay, good. Got it. That's success for me. It's about
Yeah.
existing because what I'm offering is coming from my heart. So I need to be able to exist in a way that my heart feels easy enough to offer that thing in whatever permutation it wants to be offered. That feels like success for me. And so in this case, for example, I also teach poetry classes here where I'm living in Costa Rica every Friday. And because it's transient and you have travelers coming all the time, yesterday, I had two people who were just here for a couple weeks. Last days they came out, and the guy said it was such a profound experience for him that will last for him. That feels like a success for me because that tells me that as I'm existing is providing some beautiful value for people that they will take with them. That feels like success for me in this work right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds very nice.
Mm,
Hmm. It is nice. That it's
Mhm.
along
very
for me
nice.
with the energy of like going on vacation and not checking my emails. It's like living the vacation.
Yeah,
I am
exactly.
living
Being
the
in it,
vacation. I am the
living the
vacation.
vacation.
I am the holiday because I'm just being myself.
Exactly,
And you calling me in and you
exactly.
paying me for it. Thank you. I accept.
So, do you
um,
have a team that you work with?
I don't have a team that I work with. I work solo, but I do have a writing fellowship, a writing and creative expression fellowship. And so in those cases, I build in some of the responsibilities that I would typically do. I build that into the mentorship aspect of the fellowship so that these
Mm,
young writers can build their skills in podcasting, show notes, those kind of things, and support me in ways that I'm like, I don't want to do this, so you could do it. Or
okay.
the editorial board, they develop their skills in the editorial room. I'm still there supervising as well, but it's kind of just where I think to myself, where do I want to relieve some of the weight on my shoulders, and how can I formulate that in a way that is like an educational experience for somebody else, not just here you do this, right? Because I'm not paying them, they're essentially
Mm,
interns, so they need to be able to get some
Mm,
value from it along with all of the other things that they receive in the fellowship.
mm,
Yeah.
okay.
Our last question as we end for each of you is, what advice would you give to a family member who wanted to start a new business?
my advice will always be partners, because the thing that has always plagued my life, when it comes to my journey, has always been partners. In the first couple of years of my starting businesses, I really started like 3 or 4 businesses before Sarge, doing the same thing, delivering the same digital solutions. But what the issue was with the partners, the people that I partnered with. So I think that's number one. You need to be clear about what the partnership is, and you need to know these people. It's not just about like your friends, because a lot of times you partner with your friends because you guys are kind of similar. You
Right.
guys do similar, you guys are in the same business, but you guys provide different, services within the same business. or within the same sector, and then you guys come together to, because two is better than one and everything.
Right.
Um, yeah, so knowing your partner, being very clear about finances. Finances has also been another thing that broke a lot of relationships I had. Being very clear, making sure that you have access to your money, because a lot of times I wasn't very interested in the bank details and taking care of that. It's just like, take care of that and I will just, you know focus on other things. But then not being able to have that access to the money has, you know been bad at some point
Yeah.
for me. And not it's okay to look for investors and funds and just give out a little bit of equity for that. Obviously you have to have proven yourself, have to have had some traction, maybe a couple of months traction, because no investor is going to give you money just based on an idea.
Right.
Everybody has ideas. It's based on execution of that idea that is important. Yeah, that's it for me.
Great tips from great experience coming from Chidinma. And Anayo, how about you? What great tips do you have for people who are starting their journey?
I see here.
I think you're
Is he
frozen.
hanging?
I think he's
Yeah, I think he's
frozen.
hanging. Yeah.
Hanging, frozen. Oh, okay. Well, he's gonna probably gonna hop back in a second. I'll give my tips. Let me just check and see if something happened on his side. I'll give my tip. Oh, he's back. Um, Anayo, you want to give your tips? You're muted. You're on mute.
You're mute, mate. If it's British people.
You're
Sorry,
on mute. There you go.
sorry.
I don't know what's
He's
happening. It's technical stuff. Okay, I'll give my tips while he comes back in. Yeah, I'm echoing the one about finances. Have a strong or at least a solid financial understanding of where you're going. You can start very simple, but just have a solid understanding of your financial picture. What is the business model and what's the business plan? Just let it start solid as a foundation and you can flourish and grow from there. What is the thing that is a transaction? What are your costs, right? And how much money are you bringing in? What are you hoping to bring in? And the second piece of it, in my case, especially because it comes from such a heart-led place, is has to do with understanding your own value and worth and resonating well with what it is that you're working with. If there's a no, like if the energy is not right, honor that. It's not right. There will be another energy that is right, but we have to trust that because many times when we're starting a business and we're so eager to get going and we're so eager to have clients, we'll say yes to damn near everything. And I do think that we do need to be open, in that sense because we need to build our experience. But not to the point where we're taxing ourselves and we're wondering why we're doing it in the first place and we're losing our integrity and all of these things. So be very mindful and intentional with how you enter into the business realm, whatever industry you're in, and have a solid financial foundation for yourself. Those are my tips coming from my experience. Mr.
So what
Anayo,
did sorry about the brain chat. What did I miss? Sorry.
I gave
Uh,
my tips. Chidinma gave the last
okay,
of her tips, so
so
you can give yours now.
okay, mine is getting very short. I think is you first knowing to have passion for it. I think that's the first thing. Whatever you want to do, don't start with having like okay, I'm going to get so amount from it. Have the passion for it. I think the passion is going to drive you more than the fun you start thinking about initially. So when you have passion for it, it's going to drive you. So I think that's more like that's just it. Just have passion for it.
Yeah,
Whatever you want to do and start it. Don't say procrastination, I'll do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Just start it.
just do it.
No matter how small you want to do it, just do it. Then
Yeah.
along the line, help might come and meet you there. That's it.
Yeah, great. I love it. I love all of our perspectives. I think we all gave such different perspectives. I'll probably come and listen to this again to see where were we at, and then maybe a year later where we at would be a nice time capsule. And for those who are just starting their businesses, I think it's going to provide a lot of value. So thank you both for. Do you want to? It's a little loud on your side, Anayo. If you want to, I
Sorry
don't know
about that.
who's screaming on your end, but thank y'all for making the time to have this conversation and to share your
Thank you.
expertise. It's been amazing. It's been wonderful.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I'm going to end the podcast here. Keep in touch. If you want to provide any information for people to reach out to you personally, you could do that, and then we'll put them in the show notes so that people can reach out to you if they have any other questions or they want to get in touch for business or whatever. Okay?
Yeah, I
You
guess
know,
it's
not sure I
probably
did
just
Nigeria.
my Instagram.
Yeah. You send out all that information to me. We'll put it in the show notes. What were you saying,
Oh, okay.
Anayo?
Hi, here's logged out.
Okay. Well, here we are.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take care.
All right. Bye.